Kagome was staring into space, sitting in a chair, barely even blinking. In the end, my composure snapped and I started to walk circles around the kitchen. You don't seem to be nervous at all. Would it help? She calmly asked. What would? Nothing. Although, she took the plate with the unfinished eggs from the table and cautiously sniffed it. Using yourself to test biological weapons? You know what? It's perfectly edible. Kagome smirked into good nature and I immediately lost faith in my culinary skills. We can eat while we wait. Hell yeah. 10 minutes later, the table housed a full lunch with several dishes. They tasted at least no worse than Himitsu's, but were cooked much more professionally. I was just about to compliment Kagome, then decided it wasn't the time or place. She knew full well she was a good cook. Thank you, it was very good. I limited myself to a polite thank you. You bet. She grinned and started to clean the table. Let me at least wash the dishes. Can you? You wouldn't believe it. Oh, god damn it. Every time, like, an ellipsis pops up on the text box, but I don't see it, so I don't think to, like, skip next. Half an hour later, the doorbell rang. Kagome looked at the clock and thoughtfully said, Preciseness is the politeness of kings. Punctuality, not preciseness. I thought, but kept my mouth shut. Damn, nice dress. Soon the three of us were sitting in my kitchen. I introduced the girls to each other. But what next? There was no sense trying to think that I had no choice and wasn't to blame. Even if Kagome's actions were sometimes almost impossible to predict, Ellie had absolutely nothing to do with it. I was still going to end up being the scapegoat. I was the one Kobayashi Jun had warned. The girls stood at different sides of the kitchen, refusing to look at each other. Ellie folded her arms over her chest, carefully studying my garden. Kagome, meanwhile, languidly crossed her legs and stared at me in anticipation, implying that I was the master of the house and the ball was in my court. Girls, how about tea? Yeah, that's how you do it, bud. Your tea isn't poison, but I'd rather not drink it more than I have to. Kagome sniffed while Ellie addressed me with a smile. I'd like some, thank you. The teapot still held enough of the morning's brew, but offering something like that to guests, one of which had her own restaurant, would be disrespectful even to myself. I quickly cleaned out the remnants and poured in fresh hot water. Oh, goddamn. Meanwhile, Ellie sat down opposite from Kagome and seemed to be trying to destroy the latter with a glare. Bad move. So what did you want to talk about, Iwamura-san? Your tantrum earlier wasn't exactly affirmative. That was no tantrum, Kagome was about to go off again, but managed to collect herself. My father used to work for your grandfather's company, and not simply work, he dedicated his entire life to it. You people didn't just fire him, but kidnapped him in the middle of the day. You probably have nothing to do with it, and don't even know what your grandfather's capable of. But that doesn't matter. In history, there are plenty of tyrants who answer for their sins together with their families. As you prepared this speech in advance, so what do you propose? Won't you send me to the guillotine? Ellie smirked. I just want you to talk with your grandfather. I guess Kagome didn't have a tangible plan, didn't even really know what she wanted from Ellie. And what am I supposed to tell him? That some petulant girl accused him of who knows what? I'd sooner call the police. Now that was definitely a bad idea. Girls? Shall I try to interfere? Go on. Do it. Here's the tea. Kagome didn't even look at me while Ellie accepted the cup with gratitude. Thank you. Though she immediately moved it away and continued the verbal skirmish. Are you sure it wasn't your imagination? You know, we have a good hospital. I can ask a psychiatrist to see you. Is sarcasm all you're capable of? Do you think you're better than me? And why is that? Just because you have money and power? Not at all. I just don't attack people for no reason. Kagome bit her lip and turned away for a second. If I had a choice. Yesterday we went to the offices of Kobayashi Corporation, but didn't manage to achieve anything. We went? You mean you went? Ellie gave me a questioning look. Not an angry one, but seemingly chastising. I immediately felt ashamed, as if I'd kicked a ball into the neighbor's yard, and climbed after it without permission. Yeah, we did. Don't get it wrong, it's true that Kagome doesn't always express herself sensibly, but her father really is in trouble. Trouble? Didn't seem to have chosen the best word for it either. Doesn't always? Sensibly? Each one of them seemed to hear only what she wanted to hear, with Kagome finally seeming to have noticed I was in the room too. So what happened to her father? He was taken by some people. I agreed with Kagome, but the way she had treated Ellie, it was hard to stand with her as a united front. It was even harder to choose words that wouldn't upset Ellie. I think that Kagome's father was taken because of his work for Kobayashi Corporation. And you too. Ellie said sadly.
Because it's the truth. How many times do we need to say it for you to understand? I can't believe it, Grandpa.
She seemed to think about it for a moment.
Why should I believe you without any evidence?
What evidence do you need? My father's body with his fingers cut?
If you want to say that we are thugs or something, that's just laughable. Kobayashi Corporation is known all over the world. To think that because of a single employee...
A single employee? You don't know who my father was, what he did for you.
True, I don't.
Ellie calmly responded. He was a scientist, a talented scientist, maybe even a genius.
Then why would we kidnap him?
I immediately remembered your grandfather telling me that Kagome's father had stolen the corporation's secrets.
That's what I want you to tell me.
Here we go again. Aren't you tired of it? Ellie addressed me. Well, her father did disappear. I responded unsurely.
And what does that have to do with me? If she thinks we are at fault here, let her file a police report.
Against Kobayashi Corporation, known all over the world? Kagome smirked. For the first time in this conversation, Ellie obviously realized Kagome was right about something and frowned.
In any case, I know nothing about it.
See nothing, hear nothing, say nothing. Another point for Kagome. Though at the start of the conversation I felt guilty for my indecisiveness, now I clearly understood that it was a bad idea to interfere. But Kagome thought otherwise.
Why are you just standing there?
Me? What about me?
Yesterday we were there, together. And by the way, he was the one who talked to your grandfather.
Is that true? Ellie asked with surprise. Things kind of happened that way. I looked at Kagome. But I told you our conversation in detail.
And after you talk with Grandpa, you still intend to support her nonsense?
Ellie asked with indignation. I'm not really...
Come on, tell her what you talked about with Kobayashi-jun yesterday.
I knew perfectly well that she was right. Moreover, Ellie's grandfather had admitted that his people took Kagome's father. What did any of that have to do with Ellie? Nothing, obviously. Not to mention, yesterday Kobayashi-jun had given me clear orders to keep an eye on Kagome's behavior and definitely wouldn't be happy that we dragged his granddaughter into this. On the other hand, I felt an acute sense of guilt, duty, and an annoying need to do the right thing. Oh god, is it honesty policy time? Is it time for the honesty policy? Let's go! Even if it was the only right thing from Kagome's perspective, I had to help find her father. The girls were looking at me impatiently. I had to make a decision. Okay, it's ultimately just pick one girl or the other. It's not necessarily like, do you want to be honest? Do you want to like, not? I got you. Heart Eater strikes again. Wow, I really paused on Ellie's face like right at just the right time. Girl like she got that fucking face like she about to sneeze. She got the That's awesome. Alright, but y'all know who I'm supporting, as if there was any doubt. Let's calm down for a start. Shouting and insults will get us nowhere.
Spill it already.
Ellie was looking at me with distrust. Fine. After all, I was simply telling the truth. Ellie, yesterday your grandfather really did admit that his people had taken Kagome's father. It was definitely a bad idea to mention the latter had stolen some kind of secrets from the corporation.
What are you saying?
She wasn't really upset, just surprised. It's true.
But why?
Because
of his work, why else?
Kagome rudely interrupted me.
So what was he working on?
Don't know, I'm not a scientist.
Even so, what do you want from me?
Yeah, that's like, what do we want from you? Ellie asked after a pause, her voice much less certain. You could talk to your grandfather?
About what? Don't you understand that I'm not privy to his business? And your story still sounds implausible.
Then just try to put yourself in Kagome's shoes. How would you feel? She seemed to think about it for a moment, but then assumed a haughty expression and said,
Me? In her place? Why would I?
Yeah, that's just how you are. Your entire family. Fucking heaven dwellers.
I'm just not used to holding out a tin cup like a beggar.
Alright, Ellie, you know, I was starting to warm up to you a little bit. You know, prior to our, you know, after our first impression was pretty bad. I was starting to warm up to you a bit. But now you're poor shaming? Now you're gonna go there? You're gonna go there, huh? You're poor shaming. That's... I honestly thought you might be a bit better than that. Like, I know you act a certain way around your friends and whatnot, but it's clear like you kind of got a certain different vibe when you're around Nikolai, or like when you're up on stage doing your music thing, you know. But you're gonna come out and you're gonna poor shame. Not only poor shame, you're gonna poor shame my favorite girl here. Like, that's fucked up, Ellie. Like, you just lost big points. I'm just saying. You. Nope, not happening. Enough already. There's my voice. Ellie, seriously, nobody's trying to belittle you here. We simply don't know who else to turn to. Maybe your father won't be harmed. Maybe there are even reasons to take him, but that's not the point right now. Then what is? Once again, I unwittingly switched to plural, but the desire to help Kagome burned in me stronger than ever. Fuck yeah. And Ellie insisted on not understanding, not even trying to understand what was going on. She just kept pretending to be a capricious young lady. And I was starting to get fed up with that. Even if there was nothing she could do for us, to act like this. We're simply doing everything in our power. We have few prospects and absolutely no allies. And what do you care? Ellie asked with a grin. She's probably implying that if I was helping Kagome, that'd be something between us. There's no reason to dissuade her. I definitely didn't want to talk about my parents. Hope that Kagome wouldn't either. Is that so important? Nah, not at all. But the two of you are starting to resemble blackmailers or something. What? No, we aren't. You totally are. You're demanding that I do something. What if I refuse? No, seriously. I'll have you know that my bodyguards know where I am. And if I don't come back, stop talking nonsense, I shouted. At that moment, Ellie's behavior seemed much more irrational to me than Kagome's. Even though it'd be foolish to deny that her words made me think, even made me scared. Seriously, what the hell were we doing? So if you don't mind, I'll go. Kagome didn't respond. She just silently sat there, studying the cracks in the wall with a vacant stare. I'll see you off. Listen, I'm sorry that things turned out this way. We were staying in the hallway, Ellie putting on her shoes, the price of which probably equaled the monthly income of Kagome's restaurant. I'm not making any excuses, but we probably went too far. Probably. You shouldn't tell your grandpa or anyone else about this. She gave me a careful look and smiled. Why are you standing up for her like that? There are reasons. Reasons between the two of you? No, personal reasons. Fine, and your first offense is forgiven. Ciao. Ellie left the house, almost fluttering in her snow-white dress. Well, happy now? I said to Kagome as I returned to the kitchen. Yes, quite. Except we haven't achieved anything, only made things worse. Why do you think that? Because Ellie is about to tell her grandfather everything. Think he'll be happy? I think that he'll at the very least think about it. And if something happens to us after that, what will his dear granddaughter think? There was some logic to her words, and I was sure Ellie wasn't going to say anything anyway. You're so... whatever. I let out a sigh and sat down on a chair next to Kagome. But thank you for helping. Especially after yesterday. Except I'm not at all sure I did the right thing. In the future, let's discuss and think things through before acting, alright? In the future? She smiled. Well, we still haven't found your father. And haven't learned what happened to your parents. That too. So you want to keep helping me? Fuck yeah, I do. I'll have you act more sensibly from now on. Terrible word. Makes me feel psychotic or something. Kagome laughed, and for the first time since we met, I felt comfortable around her. It's not about the choice of words, but their meaning. That's easy to say when you don't hear those words directed at you all the time. You're going to keep comparing me to everyone, even after today? I will not. Not for now, at least. Why, thank you. By the way, how's your restaurant? Same as always. She responded with surprise. Why are you asking? No reason. I just thought you must be worried about other stuff right now. It's work. Kagome shrugged. Someone has to do it. Grandpa counts on me. Our employees and customers, too. Sounds very Japanese. Is that a bad thing? No, just seems a little weird from my point of view. Why? Well, because... I don't know. Alright, never mind. Kagome didn't respond. I also didn't know how to continue the conversation. So what are we going to do next? Wait. Wait for what? Kobayashi Jun's reaction. We've got no other options left. Are you sure he'll react? I would in his place. She responded seriously. So long then. See you at school. I wanted to see her to the station, but Kagome refused. So what would happen tomorrow? Had we even done the right thing? Had I done the right thing by allowing Kagome to interrogate Ellie? Would Ellie spill everything to her grandfather? My own troubles with the calls and the note had long faded into the background. I was convinced they were closely connected to Kagome's situation, and I would need to come back to them at some point. What does something simple as a couch mean to a man? Where are you going with this? And why did I live in a traditional Japanese home when neither I nor my parents were Japanese? Even if the building itself was, say, gifted to us or given for temporary use, the furnishing clearly should have been chosen by Mom and Dad. Were they fine with this, even after the modest adornments of the Soviet Khrushchev-era apartments? Maybe so. Truth be told, I didn't know much about interior design, but I definitely remembered that our old Soviet flat had a couch. It was red with a black pattern, on springs. Jumping on those springs, I used to almost reach the ceiling, feeling like a cosmonaut on his way to the moon. Maybe I should have bought something like a couch myself and put it in front of the TV. Emitz had a couch in her living room, several even, although they were very different from those from my childhood. Yet another ringing of the doorbell distracted me from the memories. What if it was a couch salesman with a fresh catalog? Michael! Standing on my doorstep was just Michael. Hey, something happened? Definitely hadn't expected to see him here. I don't even know my address. Hey, nothing. All good. Let's go? He said in his usual even tone. Where? To the movies. I sometimes found Michael's brevity tiring and even a bit maddening. Why not say everything right away and avoid the meaningless clarifying questions? You could clearly see I had zero idea what he was talking about. Which movies? The ones we agreed to go to. I do not at all know what you're talking about. Michael let out a sigh. You really wanted to ask me to go 2 weeks ago. Oh well, 2 weeks ago. For me, that was like last century. I guess. So, should we go? Well, let's go. I shrugged. I didn't have any plans for the evening anyway. Michael didn't even flinch, kept looking at me. Are the tickets? We can just buy them there, right? Do you not even remember what the movie's about? All the tickets are long sold out. You said you'd buy them in advance. Well, I didn't, as you can tell. Or maybe I did, but forgot. No, I wasn't suffering from memory loss yet. I hoped. A pity. Looking at him, you wouldn't say he actually felt bad about it. There's been a hell of a lot happening lately. Want to come in? I still need to do some homework. Well, you found time for a movie. I smiled and opened the door wider, inviting him inside. Want some? Took out the bottle with the remaining whiskey. You've got school tomorrow. Yeah, as if you'd agree on any other day. Mike was on the side of good. An exemplary straight-A student. Kept himself reserved from the pleasures of life. And you shouldn't either. In a different situation, you'd be right. And if there was someone else in my place... Is everything that bad? I walked to the garden and sat down on the porch. The weather cleared up after the night's rain, and the outside was dominated by real summer weather. I loved to be in the countryside, in nature. Emitsa had an entire village house, with a real grandma and grandpa. Except it had been a while since I'd visited there. Bad? Depends on what you compare to it. Starving children in Africa probably have it worse. Is it because of Catherine? I smiled. It was funny to hear Michael call a girl he didn't know by her first name. We're still in Japan, even if not Japanese ourselves. No, different stuff. Say, what do you know about Kobayashi Ellie? Don't know her personally. Well, you must have heard something. He thought a moment and didn't respond immediately. People say a lot about her. Why don't you ask Kyosuke? What do you think? You'd probably tell me the size of her chest, but not anything substantial. She's respected at school, even by the teachers. Which doesn't come as a surprise. She's a Kobayashi after all. But there are rumors that things aren't all that simple with her. Not as. Michael tried to find the right word. Obvious. Gotcha. So what's so unobvious about her? Well, you, for instance, can afford to have a glass or two. And? They say she has a few bad habits too. Even with its relative novelty, calling rock music a bad habit seemed weird. We weren't in the 60s anymore. Like what? I don't really know. I prefer not to talk about people behind their backs. Just telling you what I've heard. Everyone knows about it. Yeah, everyone besides me. Michael shrugged. And what about our class representative, Iwamura? What about her? Definitely wasn't about to tell Michael about our adventures. I also found it difficult to pick a different reason to be interested in her. I'd say she's not a simple girl either. It is weird that you don't know anything about your classmates. Well, that's how I am. I don't have much to say about her. I must have noticed she doesn't get along with others. I have. Wouldn't even say that get along is the most fitting term here. Yeah, I guess. I don't know anything else, though. Still, thanks. For a while. Whoa. For a while, we both sat there silently. It's strange that you're interested in other girls when you... He faltered for a moment, which didn't happen with him often. When you got a chance to restore your relationship with Catherine. There's plenty of the fish in the sea, you know? Not that I'm involved with either of them romantically. In my heart, I was grateful to Michael for the chance to talk peacefully, share something personal, and be sure that the entire school wouldn't find out about it the next day. Must be weird to hear something like that from me, huh? No, it's weirder that you've never talked about anything like that before. You mean I wasn't interested in girls? I was barely interested in anything, really. Well, I was interested in movies. I grinned stupidly. Stupider still because I didn't even remember inviting him. By the way, there's supposed to be a good movie on TV soon. Not the one we were supposed to see, but still. Wanna watch it? Why not? Hell yeah, boys' night, let's go! When Michael left, the city had already been engulfed by the soft embrace of the unusually warm autumn night. I had no desire to sleep, and warmed by the alcohol, I went on to look for an adventure. The adventure awaited me behind the doors of the familiar bar. Inside it was loud, filled with smoke and reeking of booze. It's normal for the Japanese to have a drink or two after work when hanging out with friends or on a date. It's considered acceptable, sometimes even obligatory. What kind of corporate event would it be without eating and drinking? The only problem was that most of them had little to no tolerance for alcohol. 2 or 3 beers were usually enough to take them out, call a taxi, or carry them home on your back. That's why I didn't like drinking with the Japanese. No matter what, in an hour's time, you were left alone. At that point, you're just wasting booze. Oi, Goya! Bartender's greeting reached me through the noises of the crowd. I peeked over the heads of the people at the counter. Why had I chosen this bar and come here so often? I couldn't say it was close to my house, and the bar sort of resembled a Soviet Ryumachnoya. And definitely not because of the bartender. No, it's totally because of the bartender. Where is my hidden 5th route where I get to romance the bartender? Huh? Where is it? Hey there, what can I get ya? I'll go for whiskey. Double whiskey. Whoa, something happened? Yeah, life happened. Is it that bad? Worse than usual. I'd love to hear about it, but work is aplenty as you can see. He smiled apologetically, poured me a glass, and was about to take the bottle away when I stopped him by carefully grabbing his arm. Leave it be. I'm partying tonight. Oh yeah, you know how much this whiskey costs? I don't, and I don't care. You have nothing over 5,000 yen anyway. True enough. Bartender guffawed and raced to the other end of the bar to greet a just-arrived middle-aged man with reddish cheeks. Without the bartender around, there was little sense sitting at the corner, so I moved to a free table. A waitress approached me right away. They could be found here on the weekends, but I coldly told her that I wasn't hungry, and I didn't let her slip me a menu. Watching the drinking laymen was kind of entertainment, too. They didn't really care about being overheard by others, many shouting as loudly as they could. Visiting any bar in Tokyo on Sunday evening, you might learn that the sales manager Ibashi secretly hates his boss, that Secretary Minomi-chan cheats on her husband, and Big Boss Toki-san fears so much for his children's future that he can't sleep properly. The next day, they'd all go to work in a good mood, even if they couldn't manage to recall what they'd done or said the night before. I looked at that full bottle of whiskey. And as for me... Hello, ma'am. Is this seat taken? A young woman in a strict red business suit was standing in front of me. A European. I looked around the... Whoa. Oh, okay. Damn, OST just kicking in heavy all of a sudden. Alright. I looked around the pub and realized there were no other free seats. No? Oh, sorry. I'm just... She laughed and put down one of those complicated cocktails from the bartender's vast collection. It's rare to meet a non-Japanese person here. No, I didn't mean... It's my first time here, and I don't know you. Sorry again. She was clearly tipsy, laughed a lot, and had entered the condition wherein a decent lady needs but half a glass of champagne to become a chiffonnier. Highly sophisticated, but still a piece of furniture. Nonetheless, it was bad to have company, especially a woman's. My entire life couldn't revolve around two girls who didn't know what they want. I guess you're right. We're probably the only Europeans who have visited this bar in its entire history. Not counting the bartender, of course. I smiled, trying to look friendly. Do you come here often? She looks to be about 25, perhaps older. Sometimes. So you like this place? I've been asking myself the same question a couple minutes ago. It's more like I'm used to it. Interesting. She said vaguely and riveted her eyes on me. You must be a student. Yeah, sort of. For some reason I couldn't lie persuasively to her and started to avert my eyes. Couldn't say I was just a high schooler. Could I? How'd you guess? It just seems that you're kind of handsome, intelligent young man must study there. She abruptly stretched her hand out to me. Irene Dupont, parlez-vous français? François. I was embarrassed but responded with a handshake. Nikolai. Nikolai Anakin. Oh, so you're from the USSR. Without letting me say a word, continued. Moscow is a wonderful city. I've been there. The Kremlin, the Red Square. Are you from Moscow? Maybe from Leningrad. A magnificent place and a fabulous museum. Are you from there? You could say I'm from here. Oh, that's interesting. I've just arrived recently. Strange, I could barely hear an accent. I work as an attaché at the embassy. Everything here is so... Irene spread her arms, clearly showing exactly how exactly so everything was. Yeah, that's classic white woman. But unfortunately, I don't really have much free time. Like today, we went out with my Japanese colleagues, but I lost them already. What a goofball. She broke into loud laughter. Can you imagine? It happens. I was flattered by the attention of a girl like this. Or should I say, a woman. Her beauty wasn't the same kind as the girls I knew. Maybe Ellie. But even she lacked Irene's mature charm. So here I am now, all alone. Oh, sorry, I meant to say with you. Of course, with you. She covered my hand with hers. Thank you, Nikolai, for accompanying this poor, silly mademoiselle. Thanks to you, too. But enough about me. What about you? What do you study? She straightened up and removed her hand. Well, I don't even know. What a dumb thing to say. We just have some general subjects for now. I haven't chosen my major yet. Maybe something in the liberal arts. Can you do that? She asked with surprise. That's what I would have really liked to know myself. Now, of course, it's Dodai after all. It's good to be young, Irene said. I decided it was my opportunity. Come on now, if not for your suit, I think you were a student as well. She laughed. Can make diplomats work on the weekends too? On weekends, on holidays, and believe it or not, on July 14th. Even July 14th? That's going too far. Yeah, not like in the USSR at all. Workers' rights, the Internationale. Let's sing, Nikolai! Irene, I don't think that... Come on, they're singing their enkas. How are we worse? A drunk group in the corner was indeed tunelessly belting out a love song. I still think we'll be misunderstood. Do you care about other people's opinions so much? Don't you? You're a diplomat. For a second she froze, her eyes cleared up, and certain awareness and even coldness appeared in her gaze. The next moment she burst out laughing, again. My god, I am so drunk. Nikolai, has anybody ever told you that you are handsome? I'd be lying if I said no. Then can I also say that? I didn't know what to think. Half an hour ago I considered myself an adult, or at least was sure that I could behave like an adult in any situation. Now it turns out that it only took one drunk French girl in a dilapidated bar to shatter these assumptions. On the other hand, Irene looked very attractive, even too attractive. While talking, I managed to down a third of the bottle, and by then would have set sights even on Sayachan. Nikolai, you're looking at me so... Nikolai, don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it, my G! Don't do it, my guy, it ain't worth it! I know what you're thinking, French MILF pussy! It's not even MILF pussy, she's 25. I know what you're thinking, ew, in French? Like, Nikolai, dear God, man. Come back! Come back to us! Please! Like what, cute blondie? You already have a cute blondie, alright? Trust me, bro, I'll get to that route, just... Please, my guy, I need you to wind it in. Whiskey washed away the last remnants of my timidness. That's the way anyone would look at a beautiful woman like you if they were in my place. Nikolai, it isn't worth it. It isn't worth it, my G. Also, like, you know, you gotta remember the situation you're in. You don't think the Kobayashi Corp has some like scandalous women to send your way? That you don't think they can like read your type? Which it's weird that I'm going down Kagome's route, but they're sending someone that kind of looks like Ellie. It's like, I don't think you really know my types, ma'am, sir, person. But my dude, I know he's twisted off the whiskey, so obviously he's not gonna think rationally at all. Still, Nicola, you're saying this to a woman you just met. But our acquaintance doesn't have to end there, does it? Irene blushed, now seemingly for more than just alcohol, and leaning towards me, whispered in my ear, "Let's get out of here." My hands were shaking when I dropped a few large bills on the table. "Please, monsieur." She stood up unsteadily and stumbled for the exit. I leaped to her immediately and offered a hand, which she grabbed right away and sagged against. No, this was a ploy to get him out of the bar, wasn't it?